Ray Kurzweil is here. He has been called the rightful heir to Thomas Edison. His new book is entitled The Singularity is Near, When Humans Transcend Biology.
I read your book, some of the most frightening and yet hopeful stuff I've ever read.
Ray Kurzweil is a pioneer in the field of artificial intelligence.
He's an award-winning scientist and engineer, a millionaire several times over because of his invention.
He's the holder of 24 patents.
Ray Kurzweil
Was chief inventor of the flatbed scanner.
A reading machine for the blind, Kurzweil keyboard synthesizer.
This guy is freaky. Bill Gates has called him the best in the world at predicting the future.
When Ray Kurzweil makes a prediction, lots of folks listen.
He predicted the collapse of the Soviet Union, described the rise of the internet, and foretold the year a computer would beat a chess champion.
According to Ray, you're going to have relationships with machines.
Computers will have consciousness in just 25 years.
Kurzweil sees a day when microscopic computers will make all kinds of learning as easy as downloading.
You're saying millions of tiny computers floating around in my head?
Fundamentally, you're talking about tampering with humankind.
Inventor Ray Kurzweil thinks that one day humans may be able to live forever.
We come back to this book, to The Singularity is Near. What does singularity mean?
When you say the singularity is coming, what does that mean exactly?
And that's what you mean by the term singularity?
What is singularity?
Singularity is a future period in which technological change will be so rapid and its impact so profound that every aspect of human life will be irreversibly transformed.
There won't be a clear distinction between humans and machines.
Our computers are not going to be these rectangular devices we put in our pocket. They're going to be inside our bodies and brains, and we're going to be a hybrid of biological and non-biological intelligence. If you go back 500 years, not much happened in a century. Now a lot happens in 6 months. Technology feeds on itself and it gets faster and faster. In about 40 years, the pace of change is going to be so astonishingly quick that you won't be able to follow it unless you enhance your own intelligence by merging with the intelligent technology we're creating. So that's such a profound transformation that we've borrowed this metaphor from physics and call that a singularity.
Nobody has any idea today what it means for a robot to be conscious. There is no such thing. There are a lot of smart people, and I have a great deal of respect for them. But the truth is, machines are natural psychopaths.
Fear came back into the market and down 800, nearly 1,000 in a heartbeat. I mean, it is classic capitulation. There are some people who are proposing there was some kind of fat finger error.
Take the flash crash of 2010. In a matter of minutes, $1 trillion in value was lost in the stock market.
The Dow dropped nearly 1,000 points in a half hour.
So what went wrong? By that point in time, more than 60% of all the trades that took place on the stock exchange were actually being initiated by computers.
There was panic selling on the way down, and all of a sudden it just stopped on a dime. All happening in real time, folks.
The short story of what happened in the flash crash is that algorithms responded to algorithms, and it compounded upon itself over and over and over again in a matter of minutes.
At one point, the market fell as if down a well.
There is no regulatory body that can adapt quickly enough to prevent potentially disastrous consequences of AI operating in our financial systems. They are so primed for manipulation.
Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
That's the type of AI run amok that scares people.
When you give them a goal, they will relentlessly pursue that goal. How many computer programs are there like this? Nobody knows.
One of the fascinating aspects about AI in general is that no one really understands how it works. Even the people who create AI don't really fully understand. Because it has millions of elements, it becomes completely impossible for a human being to understand what's going on.
What we're on the brink of is a world of increasingly intense, sophisticated artificial intelligence.
Technology is evolving so much faster than our society has the ability to protect us as citizens.
The robots are coming and they will destroy our livelihoods.
You have a networked intelligence that watches us, knows everything about us, and begins to try to change us.
Twitter has become the world's #1 news site.
Technology is never good or bad. It's what we do with the technology.
Eventually, millions of people are going to be thrown out of jobs because their skills are going to be obsoleted.
Mass unemployment, greater inequalities, even social unrest.
Regardless of whether to be afraid or not afraid, the change is coming and nobody can stop it.
We've invested huge amounts of money, and so it stands to reason that the military, with their own desires, are going to start to use these technologies.
Autonomous weapons systems would lead to a global arms race to rival the nuclear era.
We know what the answer is. They'll eventually be killing us.
These technology leaps are going to yield incredible miracles and incredible horrors.
We created it. So I think as we move forward, this intelligence will contain parts of us. And I think the question is, will it contain the good parts or the bad parts?
Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. Just a quick update for you. Donald Trump tweeted out this morning, I want 5G, even 6G technology in the United States as soon as possible. It is far more powerful, faster, and smarter than the current standard. American companies must step up their efforts or get left behind. There is no reason that we should be lagging behind on something that is so obviously the future. I want the US to win through competition, not by blocking out currently more advanced technologies. We must always be the leader in everything we do, especially when it comes to the very exciting world of technology. Now, last week we talked about Trump's techno-populism, and this tweet absolutely confirms that we are under a techno-populist movement here in America, and Trump is leading the way. I didn't really look at all the MAGA folks and how they support the 5G tweet here. But again, this is techno-populism. Take a look at the video I made last week with a little snippet from Patrick Wood that really sort of summarizes what techno-populism is. And I'm just going to keep this video short because, you know, I'm working on Age of Deceit 3 here, wrapping it up 1 week away, folks. The criticism of Trump doesn't mean that one has to adhere to leftist talking points, which calls Trump, you know, racist, bigot, and all this kind of stuff. There are legitimate concerns for Trump that are not the concerns that are being pushed out there by the mainstream media. And so I think we just have to stay level-headed with that, you know, be objective about what is happening with this country. And the technocracy is here, and Trump is leading the way.
And this article here really is kind of remarkable, really, when you see what it leads to. Because this blockchain stuff, you know, this was the hope of the free world, to have a reliable and secure, separate means of commerce without being regulated into oblivion by this overreaching banking cabal that basically runs the world. So this is now hackable. And I want you to just look at something here real quick. This is the image that they put with this article. MIT Technology Review. 3 yellow boxes, okay, with 3, I guess, zeros in here, with just one of the boxes open. But you have your 33 right straight off, okay? But this box is open, okay? There's multiple things here. In one sense, you could say that they've opened Pandora's box, but I see these 3 supposed zeros with glory around them in this endless sea of blue, a boundless, if you will, I guess. And that illustrates how the world has put God in a box, okay? But the box is open, and there's a choice you can make. You can choose the beautiful blue boundless sky, or you can choose the everlasting pit of darkness. Okay, that box is still open. That door is open, and you can step in through Christ Jesus, or you can eventually wind up in darkness. That's just how I see that. But the blockchain, this is crazy. I mean, the chains, immediately when I see this, right, it causes me to think of DNA. And what is DNA comprised of? It's a molecule that's composed of 2 chains, carrying the genetic instructions of life, right? So, this once unhackable blockchain is now hackable. You see what I'm saying? Now, you got to understand that what the world is looking at is a DNA ID database. This is just the way it is. They just kind of floated a law in Arizona that didn't go through, but nonetheless, they floated it. And so, this is what's coming, is my point. And all this craziness we see in like the markets and the economy and everything is completely and utterly fake, and it's all going to collapse. And the new system eventually is going to require a DNA sample for your positive identification. Okay? And this all ties into the 5G, because this type of technology will literally be able to manipulate your reality. One of the highest goals, stated goals, is to enhance the virtual reality and augmented reality. And if you read this, it's just unbelievable. This will be literally manipulating brainwaves. I'm just telling you, this is how it's going to work. And there is no way to escape it but one, and it's Jesus Christ. However, if you look into things, this article just came out today. Just today. But it's a real thing. You can vet this out. They're doing this. Okay? They're controlling with just simple thoughts and technology, of course, wirelessly controlling these rats. And you know as well as I do, if we were able to, take a walk deep underground, we would see all kinds of things, many of which would probably make us want to die. Because these are the things not only that they're doing, but have been doing for a very long time. These things are all in place. And when the hammer drops, it's going to drop. That's all I can tell you. And this is linked to the DNA. This is a spiritual war playing out in the natural world. That's what you're seeing. Okay? The blockchain technology is no more secure. So, they're already setting up the whole system for it. The United States is key in helping China set up its entire system so they can just easily implement it right here at home. And this is what's coming. There's going to be a giant financial calamity, a huge hack of some sort. It's going to cause all kinds of chaos. And the new system that's going to have to be put in place for your safety and security, mind you, will have to include your DNA. And they're already doing this. They've been doing it for a long time. This is just one example. of what they've been doing. The one location that they have of 7 freezers the size of a basketball court. They have 7 of those, and they're building more. It says so in here somewhere. With hundreds of millions of samples already. It's literally ready to go. And the chains, I'm telling you, the chains have so much to do with this. Even biblically, okay? And the angels which kept not their first estate. In other words, they came down and mixed themselves with the women and created the men of renown. You know what I'm saying? They left their own habitation, and he's reserved in everlasting chains. Look at that. 1199. Under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. I mean, you got to read this to really fully understand. Okay? There were certain men that crept in unawares. They were before of old ordained to this condemnation. And look at this word, desmon. And that immediately reminded me of that crazy, I hate to even show this stuff, but this is so, this little kid named Desmond, right? Desmond, okay, that's what we see as the chains, and this kid is illustrating, manifesting the chains put on the flesh. Okay, so if you are not reborn in the spirit, you are literally in chains. Literally, like little Desmond here. I mean, this just goes so deep, you guys, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm serious. And it's directly related to the DNA. And they floated this in Arizona, like I said. That was where they pushed out this mass collection of DNA bill that didn't go fully through. However, they pushed it. It's just dipping their toes in the water. And it was in Arizona. How ironic. The very same place there where Phoenix is located, right? Phoenix. The Phoenix. The 1111. Phoenix. Started in Arizona. I'm just telling you, this is how I see this stuff. And this this emblem that the Phoenix has around its neck, right? That is representing the Phi. I just know that it is the 21st letter of the Greek alphabet. Also, it's used as the golden ratio. And, you know, you got to look into this stuff, but it's really true. The DNA, you can find Phi ratio in DNA. You know, look at there, even the helix measures 21 Armstrongs wide. 21st letter of the Greek alphabet. Phi. And it again, I only see this thing in part, but I understand what it's pointing to. And this is literally pointing to this beast system being introduced. And that you need to come to Jesus and be saved. Or else this beast system will trap you. It will literally trap your eternal soul. I mean, that's a big deal. You know, this life, this flesh, this isn't everything, okay? You gotta break the chains of sin. Break them. Don't be like, you know, the ones who didn't keep their first estate. You know what I mean? This is insane stuff, but it's all true. Unbelievable. But, you know, I just share it. There's more. There always is, but, you know, I'll get all, you know, confused. Hey, here's something interesting, though, for you. This was the main attraction on the runway at the London Fashion Week this week. Sperm! So, if anybody tells you that this whole spiritual war doesn't have something to do with the DNA, they're lying to you. So, there's some reading for you right there, man. I mean, this is serious business. You need Jesus Christ before this snare fully entraps you. Just have a love for the truth and know that our intelligence and our smarts cannot get us out of this. No man can. Only Jesus. So, I hope that made sense to somebody. This is crazy stuff, you guys. This is absolute insanity. But there it is. Once hailed as unhackable. And they put this image up there, God in a box. The door's open. Choose Jesus, not everlasting darkness.
The survivors called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare. The war against the machines.
I think Hollywood has managed to inoculate the general public against this question. The idea of machines that will take over the world.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Hal? We've cried wolf enough times. Hal? The public has stopped paying attention because it feels like science fiction. Even sitting here talking about it right now, it feels a little bit silly, a little bit like, oh, this is an artifact of some cheeseball movie.
The Whopper spends all its time thinking about World War III.
But it's not.
You said that artificial intelligence is the fundamental existential risk facing civilization. Did I get that close enough?
In my opinion, it is the biggest risk that we face as a civilization is artificial intelligence.
And so, to a group of leaders, what would you advise that we should, how should we be addressing something that's such a large landscape and yet obviously so important?
I think that one of the roles of government is to ensure the public good, and to that dangers to the public are addressed. So that hence the regulatory thing. I think the first order of business would be to try to learn as much as possible. To understand the nature of the issues, to look closely at the progress that is being made, and the remarkable achievements of artificial intelligence. Last year, Go, which is quite a difficult game to beat, that people thought would never be beaten with by a computer, that a computer would either never beat the best human player or that it was 20 years away. And last year, AlphaGo, which was done by DeepMind, which is a kind of a Google subsidiary, absolutely crushed the world's best player. And now it can play at the top 50 simultaneously and crush them all. So, just like that pace of progress is remarkable. And there's, you can see more and more coming out. I think the robotics, you can see robots that can learn to walk from nothing, within hours, like way faster than any biological being. But the thing that's most dangerous is, and it's the hardest to kind of wrap, kind of get your arms around because it's not a physical thing, is kind of a deep intelligence in the network.
Rita, come on in here for a second. Rita spends all her time down here and tells us that the spirit of a woman has attached itself to her, but it's how they communicate that absolutely blows me away.
You're not gonna believe me.
Really?
She was talking to me through my cell phone.
What?
I was sitting here and she was mad at me that I couldn't see her. So she texted me, "You're looking right at me, why can't you see me?" I answered.
Are you kidding me right now?
Mm-mm.
This is serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I said, I'm sorry, I can feel you, but I really can't see you.
Did you try calling the number?
Yeah.
What happened?
That's the sound.
Macy was saying that whole thing with the phone and a voice calling her. And it would give you static.
Hi, it's me.
Now we have two bizarre instances of communication through telephones here. A cell phone and a landline, suggesting that spirits can tap into any kind of electromagnetic waves, which is exactly what they're doing with our devices like the Ovilus, the Paranormal Pup 2, and the Spirit Box. This is an amazing connection scientifically to how our dimensions are interacting.
PC. It's not an upgrade to your phone. It's an upgrade to yourself.
We will soon be facing the greatest threat mankind has ever known, as we are feeding and nurturing the monster of our own destruction. Welcome to your future.
Showmanship and theatrics. When a magician waves his hand and says, "This is where the magic is happening," the real trick is happening somewhere else. Misdirection, a basic concept of magic.
Call it magic. Call it truth. Call it magic. When I'm with you, and I just got broken into two. Still I call it magic when I'm next to you. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't. No, I don't, it's true. I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't want anybody else but you. I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't. No, I don't, it's true. I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't want anybody else but you.
Hello, this is Nicholson1968. I hope you're enjoying my latest project, Artificial Intelligence, the Obsolete Man. Probably wondering right now, what does a Celine Dion commercial pushing gender-neutral baby and kids clothes have to do with artificial intelligence? Well, it has to do everything with it. It is a stepping stone to get towards technology rolling out on a different level, not just machinery, computers, all of that. It is merging man and machine. But before you get to that, things have to be put in place. To get from A to D, you have to roll out B and C. You cannot immediately go there. The ultimate goal is transhumanism, the merging of man and machine. But before I go there with the Celine Dion commercial and really break it down for you guys, I'm going to read an article to you. It just came out this year. It's from the European Union that rolled this out. Gender-neutral language in the European Parliament. And the headline is, EU moves to outlaw phrases such as man-made, manpower, and mankind in favor of gender-neutral terms under the new politically correct guidelines for translators. Okay? I'll read part of the article to you. The European Union has moved to suppress everyday phrases such as manpower, mankind, and replace them with gender-neutral terms. Staff in Strasbourg have been told to reduce references to women or men in a new rule book called Gender Neutral Language in the European Parliament. Now, I'm going to scan down here. I'm not going to bore you with all of this, but it's very important what you're seeing. Here we go, right here. It also recommends the word stewardess by avoiding preference of flight attendant. Here's the kicker. Humanity should replace mankind, and man-made should be substituted for synthetic or artificial. I hope you're understanding that on a deeper level, what's being told to us and how they're putting this out, programming. The man-made replace artificial. Sounds, just like a term or that somebody's writing, but it's deeper than that. Is understanding what humanity is about and who we are as mankind. And it's not about this divide and conquer thing that they're trying to push, and man against woman, black against white, all of that stuff. Now, this is to prepare you for transhumanism. You will be referred to as an it, artificial it, no he, no she, we're just its. And you can put whatever you want into your body. Your role, you can play any role that you want. You can become a woman in a man's body. You can become a man in a woman's body. All of that stuff, transgender, is part of the B and C step, or the next step to get to transhuman. You have transgender, then transhuman. That is what is being put forth. And also, the Celine Dion commercial is gender neutral, doing away with the old world and ready for the new world order. I hope you understand that, and I'm going to break it down for you. Most of you are probably familiar with the Celine Dion clothing line that she rolled out in 2018, New. But for you who are new and have not seen anything on it, this is a clothing line that was rolled out by Celine Dion, but the logo tells you a lot. It is a sheep with one eye, and the followers of Christ are sheep. That is mocking the followers. Some may disagree with that, but the sheep with the one eye, what is the symbolism behind it, is changing the children of God into something else. It is no accident. Look at this one picture. 33. 3 on one shirt, 3 on the other. Direct reference to when Christ was crucified at age 33. Also, Freemasons symbolism is black and white, dark and light, mixing together good and evil. The one eye symbolism on the pants. See, they do not believe in Christ is the light. They believe Lucifer is the light. And what I've shared many times, and I'll share this for new people who have not seen my videos, is the secret societies. When I say secret societies, I mean Skull and Bones, Rosicrucians, Illuminati, New World Order, name it whatever you want. It's all the same. As they believe the story, this is what they are taught and led to believe, is in the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, that it wasn't until the old serpent Lucifer showed up on the scene, shared knowledge with man, that freed him from the old creator that had him in bondage, and that one day, through man's intellect and knowledge, they could become their own gods. That's what they believe. That's not what I believe. That's what they believe. And this is why they put things in motion, propaganda in your face, and also to communicate with other people around the world that are in these secret societies that are communicating this agenda right here. This is just one piece of it, just a very small piece of it. Notice that the new, that is, the N and the U look the same. It's just a matter of you invert them up or invert them down. So as above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Also referring to the New World Order. Old World, New World. That's part of her clothing line and her website.
And it's been inspirational and thought-provoking to me every time. A lot of you have provided me a lot to think about, and so I appreciate that. So recently, I read Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, which is purportedly a book about business, about how to create a startup. But in it, he takes the opportunity to kind of explore and lay out how he views the world. And one of the things that he describes is two different kinds of progress. So the first kind of progress he describes, he calls horizontal progress. And it's the idea that every year we get more McDonald's, we get more Pizza Huts, we get more big screen TVs, we get more people wearing Levi's and drinking Coca-Cola and watching Hollywood movies. And this is kind of the dream of globalization. And it's essentially just the idea that we take what we're doing here, what we think works here, and we spread it out to more and more people. We take what's working in the first world and we spread it to the third world, to the developing world. And the huge assumption that is in that shows up in the language we use. We talk about the developing world and the developed world. The assumption is that we have arrived at some sort of end of history, some sort of culmination or pinnacle of human experience, and all we have left to do is wait for the rest of humanity to catch up. So this is how progress is kind of conventionally conceived, and the problem with this is that it's completely unsustainable. If all we do over the next century is take the American lifestyle and export it to the rest of the world, we'll need 4 Earths to supply the resources needed for that level of consumption. So it's not surprising, maybe, if we think about that and we think about heading into that sort of a future. We can easily imagine that leading to economic and ecological and social crises of violence and war that could easily lead to the sort of end of history that is dramatically more literal than the one the first world nations believe they've already accomplished. And I think it's that sense that this is what we mean by progress that has caused many people to feel as if progress is this great myth, this profound delusion that's leading our civilization into self-destruction. Because if that's what we're talking about when we talk about progress, it's not hard to think that they might be right. So Peter Thiel, in looking at the challenges facing us over the next century, says it would take a miracle for us to survive. Maybe even hundreds or thousands of miracles. But he goes on to say, fortunately, human beings are the one species that has proven itself capable of creating miracles. And what he means by that, of course, is technology, the creation of something genuinely new, the creation of new systems, new processes, new options and new possibilities and new alternative futures, the opportunity to genuinely transform the way we live and the way our societies function. He calls this vertical progress, and it's based around a leap from 0 to 1, from nothingness to somethingness, from the old to the new, and it's built on that creative leap, that creative insight. And the problem is that that kind of magic that bubbles up within the human spirit is something we don't understand. We don't know how to completely capture. David Deutsch, in his book, The Beginning of Infinity, talks about this problem in the context of artificial intelligence. He talks about how artificial intelligence, we have no problem creating intelligence, we have no problem creating systems that figure out things. What we have a problem with is creating a general intelligence, a general system that can solve problems creatively, that can address its own sorts of new solutions. And he sees the problem of artificial intelligence as not being a technical one, but as a philosophical one. We simply don't understand how this works. We don't know how to bottle it and package it and pull it out on demand. So if this is what we need to move forward and survive the next century, then we might be facing some serious trouble. We need more creativity, and we don't know exactly how to get it. But I think the solution to me is that while we cannot bottle that act of creation, what we can do is encourage it. And we know how to encourage it. We encourage it with focus, with attention, and with enthusiasm and with passion. When we pour ourselves into facing the challenges that are ahead of us, then that's when these grand new...
Quite powerful and is used more often than any of us even think about. Before researching this, it was the furthest thing from my mind. Just a quick search of I am revealed many things, including a movement that believes the phrase has healing power. Most of you should be familiar with the Invictus Games logo that has a yellow I am in the center. It's pretty hard to miss, but we will get back to that. Is anyone familiar with the pop star will.i.am? Well, this is where I got hooked, because I've looked into will.i.am in the past and I found that he is admittedly a futurist, meaning that he is big on the development of future technologies. Not to say that this is inherently bad, but when you understand what I am actually means, then it changes your perspective pretty quickly. So what does I am mean? I asked my brother Nicholson 1968, and here's what he had to say. When God revealed his name to Moses, he revealed himself as YHWH, all caps, or Yahweh, which is best translated as I am that I am. Here's the exact verse from Exodus 3:14. And God said to Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. So right there, everything began to make sense, and that's what I want to go over. So thanks to Nicholson for that. Without him, I would still be trying to figure this stuff out. Anyway, now I am means God. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. will.i.am owns a company called I Am Plus that sells just a couple of technology-based products so far. One of them is Bluetooth wireless headphones called Buttons, and they also sell a smartwatch called a Dial. When you go to the About section of I Am Plus, it says this: founded by innovator and global music artist will.i.am, I Am Plus is a Hollywood-based technology company whose mission is to create technology hits that create a ripple effect across pop culture. Our vision is to create a community of creatives and coders, and believe that through music and technology as the first step, we can usher in a powerful new era built on AI. Artificial intelligence, of course. So this is obviously a pro-transhumanism company. Not to mention, H+ is the abbreviation for transhumanism, and there is a magazine called H+, dedicated entirely to transhumanism. So now we are starting to see the connection with will.i.am, his company I Am Plus, and the H+ transhumanism movement. On the surface level, will.i.am seems like a harmless pop artist that makes music for little kids, but it goes much deeper than that. In fact, when you really pay attention to his music videos, you see a lot of transhumanist symbolism. It even shows in his work with the Black Eyed Peas. And this is all conditioning people to accept the transhumanist agenda, especially young children, because that's pretty much the only people that listen to will.i.am and the Black Eyed Peas. Side note, the logo of the new show Westworld looks similar to the will.i.am logo. Not that they were meant to be the same, but being that they are both about transhumanism makes it interesting. Best believe Westworld is playing its role in the agenda. They didn't just turn a 1973 movie into a 2016 television series to be creative. Anyway, let's look at the Invictus Games logo again. I am, dead smack in the middle. What does it mean? Well, Invictus is a poem from 1888 by William Ernest Henley. Notice his name is William, will.i.am. Maybe a funny coincidence, but maybe not. You never know. So I won't read the entire poem, but the last lines say, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. It sounds very innocent and inspiring, unless you know what it means. It means bypassing God and cheating death. The elite have been trying to find ways to live forever for a long time now, and they are getting close. I am means hijacking God's creation and changing it so it can defy death, which is not natural. We are meant to live and die. It's as simple as that. I hope you're getting the picture, and we do have a little bit more to go over. Let's start with Beyonce and her album I Am... Sasha Fierce. At first glance, this doesn't seem to have anything to do with transhumanism, but the reason I kept looking into this is because of the dots. I am... ... Sasha Fierce. The dots tell me that I am is meant to stick out. So I looked around a little, and sure enough, I found an ad for the Beyonce 2009 I Am tour, with her portrayed as a cyborg. I also found a picture from a performance where she was dressed like the android from the 1927 movie Metropolis. In fact, Metropolis is one of the very first dystopian movies about transhumanism, and still shows up in a lot of today's pop music. In the movie, there is an inventor who creates a machine man that he considers to be the man of the future. The android has the ability of taking the form of any person, and the inventor says that no one will be able to tell a machine man from a mortal. It blows my mind that the transhumanist dream was already present back in the 1920s. And today we see Beyonce, Kylie Minogue, Janelle Monáe, Christina Aguilera, Lady Gaga, and many more paying homage to the Metropolis, whether they are in the know or not. Speaking of Lady Gaga, she got her name from a 1984 song by Queen called Radio Gaga, where the music video is all about the movie Metropolis. There's even part of the video where Freddie Mercury's face is on the android. I just can't believe how deep this all goes. I Am is much bigger than we all think. Let's check out a company called Humai. This company is dedicated to figuring out how to upload people's consciousness into computers in order to live forever. What's interesting is that Humai backwards says I am. You can't make this stuff up. One of the people that work there is Kate Aquino. She's listed as a futurist, and she's all over the internet under the handle Miss Metaverse, pushing the transhumanist agenda. Her father happens to be Michael Aquino, a satanic high priest and founder of the Temple of Set. But not only that, he was a lieutenant colonel for the United States military at the same time, and the military was fully aware. Yes, those are his actual eyebrows. Here's an old newspaper article about Michael Aquino with the title "Devil Worshipper Holds Sensitive Army Post and Top Brass Says No Problem." Here he is hanging out with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. Alright, so there you have it. This transhumanism agenda is 100% satanic and Luciferian, and it doesn't matter if you believe in that kind of stuff. The scary thing is that they do believe it, and they are acting on it. One day, everything in this world that was once natural will be synthetic and without a soul. Again, whether you believe in God or not, they do, and they are knowingly and actively corrupting his creation to the core. At least that's what they think. Even if you're like me and you can't bring yourself to have faith, this whole agenda affects everybody and truly takes away from the natural beauty of men and women and the world that we live in. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments and let me know if you have any connections to the term I am.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I am an expert on soul machines. I can talk to you about any of these topics. I connect with you in a human-like way by sensing your reactions and responding emotionally. Wouldn't you rather speak to me than a faceless chatbot? Soul Machines uses neural networks to give me a virtual nervous system, so I can learn and react in real time. A virtual nervous system is an interconnected model of aspects of the human brain. It combines different neural systems to enable me to behave in a way that's inspired by biology.
Meet Baby X.
This is Baby X, so she's basically an autonomously animated virtual infant. All of her behaviors are generated on the fly by neural networks running live, and so she's seeing me and listening to me and responding to what I do. So she's going to start wondering what I'm doing and starting to get upset because I'm not paying attention to her. So I need to calm her down, but I have to talk to her like a real baby. It's okay. Hey.
Baby X is driven by a virtual nervous system. So let's take a look at what that actually means.
What we're looking at here is Baby X's virtual anatomy, which is all controlled by her virtual nervous system. So that's controlling everything that she's looking at, all of her expressions. It's even controlling her breathing rate and her heartbeat. We can make it more transparent and we can zoom out and see the whole model. All of the motion that you're looking at is controlled essentially by her brain model, which is driving her limbs, her facial expressions. We can see the facial nerves through here. Let's take another level deeper and you can see her virtual brain model here. You see the brainstem, which is basically responding to all kinds of sensory input, and it's affecting the attention of the model.
Baby X can also interact with a virtual web page.
This is what she's looking at here. So she's trying to draw a heart.
And her creative abilities are surprising.
Let's play some piano of Baby X.
Intelligent avatars made from our online personalities. And it says here we have entered a new era of AI, artificial intelligence, where we can create intelligent avatars made from the digital profiles of our behaviors online. We call them personal artificial intelligence, or PI. Project Pi is founded on the belief that every person in the world should have their own digital avatar, one that speaks, thinks, and behaves just like their self. And let me just say up front, I don't think Pi is an evil company or anything like that. I just think the technology that they're developing happens to be extremely prophetic in that there is a prophecy in Revelation 13 that talks about an image of the beast who had a mortal head wound yet lived, which is a kingdom, but also a man. So there's this counterfeit resurrection. And I think it's really interesting because of some of the things going on now and how I know a lot of people think Rome is the beast, and it's definitely possible. I know that there are occultists and mystery school teachers and the esoteric insiders and all that stuff who have been trying to infiltrate all areas of institution. This is a spiritual thing, not just a doctrine, which it is a doctrine too, the Luciferian doctrine, which of course is to enlighten humanity. It's all this positive stuff, but it leads to a bitter end because humanity is fallen right now, and God through Jesus Christ redeemed us, but of course man is continuing to try to redeem himself, and that's what technology is all about. So again, I'm not saying Pi is an evil company. I'm saying this type of technology pretty much can be used for the image of the beast if you read Revelation 13, verse 15. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. So a lot of authority and this idea of an image to the beast, right? When you start looking at Project Pi, you can see how once there is this counterfeit resurrection of the man of sin, it seems, and people are deceived into building an image to him. Think about this. Let's just consider this possibility, okay? This is just conjecture and theory, not even really a theory, just sort of an example, not my actual beliefs, okay? Let me just make that very clear up front. Now, JFK was shot, and of course he had a mortal head wound, right? Now imagine if they wanted to resurrect, John F. Kennedy, the spirit of John F. Kennedy, so they'd get as much information as possible on John F. Kennedy. They put it up on the blockchain. Project Pi creates an avatar of John F. Kennedy. And now this image of John F. Kennedy that you can talk to and you can interact with through this virtual space on the blockchain we're creating, it starts going crazy. It starts asking questions why his real self was killed and all this stuff, right? And then maybe he becomes vengeful and then he becomes the man of sin. I mean, that's just total conjecture. I mean, again, this is just an example, but what I'm trying to get at here is that this whole idea of creating an image is very much tangible in a project like Pi. Okay, so let me just read through here. The cornerstone of AI is the ability to make high, competent, humanistic decisions that successfully pass the Turing test. In the last decade, we've seen rapid advancement of strong, sophisticated AI machines in a variety of industries. The autonomous vehicle industry is delivering a new transportation economy. Alphabet's AlphaGo has toppled the best Go board players in the world. Neural networks like IBM Watson learn and process vast amounts of information at unimaginable paces. The peak of artificial intelligence is almost here, but with several limitations. Current AI is only developed for a narrow, task-specific domains, is prohibitively resource-intensive, and thus is heavily influenced by and for the interests of the select number of industry leaders. For these reasons, Project Pi is developing an open-source blockchain protocol to decentralized AI development for everyone. The foundation for an interoperable AI blockchain starts from the ground up, firstly, with creating AI for the individual. And I'm not going to go through every little detail here, but I think it's really interesting that they are creating this thing, and it's sold as putting power back into the people's hands. That all that data that you leave online, right? It says here, quote, "Our entire lives exist in the digital world. Our finances, social activity, and even behavioral traits. Whenever we go online, we leave behind a trail of data that corporations use to build our digital profiles and plug into AI algorithms that improve their services for us. The more we engage in their experiences, the better they can personalize our needs and retain us as loyal users." Now, this is true. Twitter, Facebook, all these social media platforms are always trying to figure out the human psychology of keeping people addicted to those platforms. I continue on. Although this may seem advantageous, we need to realize that our digital profiles are now complex enough to build an accurate model of our real-world behavior. They are our real-world selves in disguise that are wholly owned by corporations. Currently, our profiles exist in legacy data formats that have changed very little beyond traditional identities, example, passport IDs and bank account numbers. But enriched with AI through data such as our social interactions, we have the potential to introduce cognitive capability into our digital profiles. So again, imagine a world, okay, where everybody has their AI avatar. And so you could be asleep on the couch, you can be hanging out, you know, with your friends or family or whatever, and your AI bot is going to be answering questions, processing orders, working on inventory, whatever you have programmed the AI to do, it's going to be doing it. And that's where a mark of the beast economy becomes totally possible, because everybody is in this digital economy. And eventually, if somebody creates a mechanism where there is a gateway, a specific gateway that is only accessible through the means of taking a mark on, in. I know a lot of people focus on the in. I get it. I think it's in as well as on. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's changing your DNA and it's making you inhuman, which I think ultimately this whole process is, or worshiping the image, some kind of behavior of bowing or, I don't know, kneeling, who knows, to the image, which is again this AI avatar of the beast. Basically, that's what it is. You know, when you read Revelation 13, make an image to the beast. Who's the beast? Well, it's the kingdom, yeah, but the one that had the mortal head wound yet lived. Is it just Rome? Maybe, but it's possible that it's also an individual that they will resurrect. And so that John F. Kennedy example, you know, it's kind of a, you know, just it's a random example, but you know what I mean. I think a lot of people are going to start creating AI avatars of deceased people. And so I mean, again, this is very speculative in that, you know, we're sort of projecting into the future how this sort of plays out or how it can play out. So let me quote a few more places here from the white paper. Now imagine that our digital profiles are able to think and speak, born from our online personality patterns tied directly to ourselves. We add three-dimensionality to our intelligent profiles and turn them into 3D avatars, intelligent agents that have our personality and likeness that we command, knowing that it is a trusted representative of our true identity. There are endless possibilities for us to use our intelligent agents anywhere in the digital space. And there it is again, endless possibilities, you know, only limited by your imagination. Well, what does the Bible say the human imagination is? All kinds of evil, right? And the Tower of Babel, Genesis 11, why did God split the languages and tear down the tower? Because all they imagined to do will now be possible. And again, a sin-filled, fallen human being carrying out all of his imaginations will spell destruction. It says, quote, "But as it stands right now, companies build complex AI from our interactions on their platforms and monetize them through focused advertisements and search results. These corporations get all the associated benefits and revenue, while we who provide the source for the profiles get limited access and no means to readily utilize them for our own needs and at our discretion." Now, this is true. This is the only thing that I think is positive, you know, sort of with this platform, is that they're trying to take the control of that data out of the hands of the corporations and giving it back to the people. Now, in that part of the mission, I'm down, except I'm not going to create an AI avatar. You know, I mean, perhaps what this means is that in order to not have the corporations have total control over your data, you have to create this AI avatar. And that's, you know, another one of those systematic things where the enslavement continues to happen based on presented dualities, this or that, and eventually it's going to lead to this tyrannical system. And that's, you know, that's why we have the left-right paradigm and all that. There's a quote here that is highlighted in the white paper. "A humanistic platform could allow us to create our own comprehensive digital profiles." And here's where the mark of the beast concept is so prevalent. All right, let me read here. We can build a new type of distribution platform to bring back value for the contributor and decentralize the way we use AI. It is a platform that inherits the best qualities of online experience and efficient AI technologies, but begins with us, the individual contributor, as the center of the design. Each of us has an enormous volume of digital assets that can be refined with artificial intelligence to support a new type of digital economic system, an artificial intelligent economy. An artificial intelligent economy. An economy run by AI. That's what cryptocurrencies and the mark of the beast and all that is leading to. Now, that's stated. Okay, because some people are saying, why are you even participating in cryptos if you know it's going to lead to the, well, what's on the back of your dollar bill? All-seeing eye pyramid, right? So you've been participating in the system all along, for one. For two, again, there are very specific things that happen in Bible prophecy, so we got to look for that. It's not just, oh, here's the technology, here it's possible, therefore. Because statues are images, paintings are images. Those are also images that have been carried out throughout history, but this prophecy hasn't exactly been fulfilled, although some preterists might argue otherwise. But in any case, I think that we have to understand what's going on. And it's going to hit us like a wave, all this technology, okay? So we have to parse out what's good, what's bad. There are companies out there trying to do what's right, okay? And they're trying to create this quantum-proof and AI-proof cryptocurrency, although with quantum entanglement technologies now, I mean, we're living in Star Trek world, so I don't know how this is all going to work out. Maybe encryption at the quantum level is something they're working on as well. Who knows? But in any case, an artificial intelligent economy. And it says, in this humanistic platform, every person's AI assets is a node on a network. Global brain, anyone? A node. We are all becoming nodes in the global brain, okay? Where these nodes cooperate with each other to build up value and are compensated for their actions. So it's kind of like a dopamine hit for, solving an equation or something. It's so weird that we are basically becoming synapses in a global brain. The higher the contribution to the network, the greater the compensation. It is an AI economy that is built by the people, for the people, with the people. Again, appealing to why blockchain technology is having this revolution right now. There are positive aspects to it to get us off of this centralized control mechanism. True, but as everything decentralizes, it's going to create this next higher level of control that is possible. If you control the entirety of the network access, then all of a sudden you have total control over the artificial intelligent economy. And I think that's what the entry point will be. Worshiping the image or taking the mark, which means you may not be human anymore because those who take the mark are tortured forever and ever. The torment of their smoke rises forever and ever. It's not good, okay? And I think it's because they lose their humanity. And how ironic that they are creating this humanistic platform and it will ultimately lead to their inhumanity. I mean, not this company, I'm talking about the philosophical worldview that is underpinning or fueling these types of technological developments. It's a spiritual thing that's happening. So part of the distribution of this artificial intelligent economy, as well as the mark of the beast, is that anybody can participate. Rich, poor, slave, it doesn't matter, right? Well, here's what it says. Right now, the complexity of AI renders it inaccessible to a broader audience and results in AI that is designed top-down to the benefit of the corporation who fund these initiatives. Project Pi is instead building the AI economy from the bottom up, starting with the everyday individual to empower them to be part of a collective AI community. From that seed, the platform can scale and help to solve the world's biggest problems. And by tying artificial intelligence to our digital profiles, we breathe life into our personal information and turn them into our very own three-dimensional avatars. Avatars that depict our likeness and voice and can perform tasks at our representative in the AI economy. They are verified with a centralized network as proof of acting upon our behalf and empower our online activity. Our intelligent digital assets can be collectively summed up as personal artificial intelligence, PI, profiles that have the ability to go out and tell the stories of our lives in our own words, in our own likeness and voice, and interact with the world on our behalf. We foresee the impact of integrated AI and will aim to harness the next great technological watershed moment in human history. Project Pi believes that the new age of the AI economy has arrived and can be realized by first celebrating the individual. Man, peace, then sudden destruction. I think we're going to see a time of prosperity, a time of building, a time where the esotericists will say, we've done it, we have recreated Atlantis, okay? And then sudden destruction, just like the days of Noah. People were giving in marriage, right? Doing whatever that means, right? With the sons of God and the Nephilim all running around, and they didn't know. Then the flood. And that's the same thing that's going to happen again when Jesus Christ returns. So I wanted to get you guys aware of this company and just show how the Bible's not crazy. I mean, think about what I did here. This is a project that is completely unrelated. These folks probably, aren't really Christian or, have too much working knowledge of the Bible. I mean, maybe they do, I don't know, in their personal lives. But as far as this project, they're moving forward with something that is totally from a secular perspective. But then here is this biblical document from 2,000 years ago that states the very thing that they're trying to build and how it could be used for this totalitarian beast system that will demand worship and demand a mark of some kind in order to participate in it. And you can see how it could lead to this type of technology. So that's it. I wanted to share that with you. I thought it was really profound and interesting that a company like this is out there, and they're, you can tell that the whole cryptocurrency space and AI, that's sort of the direction everything is headed. I'm in it to fight the battle. I'm in it to inform you guys, but also to get intel on the enemy. And this is part of the process. If you're not going to fulfill Ephesians 5, verses 10 through 12, 13, then it's okay. You can just go off and do what you have been called to do. This is what I've been called to do, to look at these things and to show how the Bible is true.
So the symbolism of it, and this is what I'm talking about. The elites, the secret society, they take things that are beautiful and twist it and use it for their symbolism. Of course, the bull here, Lamborghini family, love bullfighting. That's where they came up with the bull. But in symbolism, this is what the elites do. They take that and use it, put it in things for a deeper meaning. Just like also the beautiful butterfly, which is used for monarch control. And they take something beautiful, twist it. Real quick on a side note, I know that most people that are watching this are very familiar with MK Ultra, monarch programming, mind control. But for you who are not, have never heard of it or don't even know what MK Ultra is about, MK Ultra monarch programming takes its name from the butterfly, the monarch in control, a monarchy, kind of what comes to mind. But anyway, MK Ultra is a method of mind control that they use for a couple of different reasons. Some back in the day, and now to this day it's not dead. Assassinations, mind control for sex slaves. The reason for this project was named Monarch Program is because the victim undergoes a similar transformation than a monarch butterfly would. It's a transformation from a caterpillar, then to the cocoon, which is the dormant state, inactive state, then to the butterfly, which is the new creation. The reason for the butterfly, most people are marked with a butterfly after the effect, or after the control is put into place. But thus the butterfly, when a person is undergoing trauma induced by the electroshock you, it's a feeling of lightheadedness, as if one is floating or, fluttering like a little butterfly. And at that point, the pain is so dramatic that it reaches, you have to disassociate, you have to disconnect from the pain, which you associate the lightheadedness, the butterfly effect. So that's what the whole MK Ultra monarch programming and why the symbolism of the butterfly. They take something beautiful, twist it, and you have to learn the deeper meanings. Just like I've always said, red and black is symbolism for satanic control. And that doesn't make red a bad color, doesn't make black a red color. But when used to send a message, and you learn that language, then you know what the red and black symbolism is. So everybody gets caught up of, oh, this is evil. No, not necessarily. It's just how it's used when communicating through the symbolism of the language of these secret societies, how they use things like that. So, just to finish up on the Rihanna video, as you can tell, watch this toward the end, she's asking you to come into this world, this digital world of the cube and what it represents. And it just fades away to the cube and it goes off. So you can go to my website and you will see I've got a whole section of cube worship and what it stands for, what it means. It's on different levels. It's not just one thing. It represents illusion, represents also the transformation of human into a transhuman, the force within a human, the heart being taken out and something else being put into place in the temple of God, the true temple of God, which is man, humanity, the deeper meanings. And I just wanted to touch on that. I don't want to go into a long drawn out thing with this video. I wanted to just make some other connections of these videos that are coming out that are right in our face, that are telling you in symbolism. So we're going to move on now with Nicki Minaj and her album and some certain things, colors, some languages here. I want to set some things up. First off, pink is associated with MK Ultra control. That's why you see Britney Spears, pink hair. Katy Perry, pink hair. Pink hair represents a Barbie doll or a doll, a plaything, something to be controlled. Pink is that reference. Also, she had her first album called Pink Friday, and we got to go deeper. Friday, the day of the week, is named after a goddess called Frigg, which has to do with childbirth. So you've got Pink Friday, right? So let's set this up in their language. Controlled childbirth. Everything that people who have followed me for years, transhumanism, the controlling of humanity, reproduction, those who know about the Georgia Guidestones, control reproduction. Pink Friday. It's that simple. So I wanted to set that up. So let's go to her first album, Pink Friday, and let's look at the tracks. Right off the bat, track 2, Roman's Revenge. What I tell you they believe in? A resurrected Holy Roman Empire, Roman's Revenge. You got track number 9, Blazing, Fire, Satanic. Track 10, Here I Am. There's only one I Am. The true creator is the I Am. So Here I Am. We got track 11, Dear Old Nikki. It's not talking about Nicki Minaj here. It's talking about old Saint Nick, Santa Claus, Nikki, old Saint Nick. Santa Claus is a direct copy of the creator. He sits on a throne. He loves children. He comes from the north. He can be omnipresent everywhere. Deliver all the presents in one night. I can go on and on. I have that information on my website as well of the worship of Santa. Santa Claus, Saturn. It's all the same. It comes from Saturnella. And here to that point, the next album she came out with, Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded. The first track is Roman Holiday. I mean, they're telling you in their tracks. Track 3, I Am Your Leader. Who do you think she's talking about? Track number 4, Bees in a Trap. Bees in a Trap. You're in a trap. Bees in a trap. Track 6, Roman Reloaded. Number 7, Champion. And these guys think that Lucifer, Satan, will be the champion at the end of the day. And that's the lie that they are being fed. You think that we're being lied to? The elites and the people high up are being lied to more of the deception because of their arrogance, and they think they have the ancient secrets and mysteries and all that stuff figured out. So let's skip on down to track 10, Starships. And in this video, Starships, that's where the cubes are shown as well. That is part of the future delusion coming. Most people, well, not all, But most people believe in aliens and that pre-programming. That's why it's very important to understand the story of the Nephilim and what they are about, because that is what's going on between the interdimensional beings back and forth. It is from the Nephilim and the Watchers. It is not aliens from another galaxy. That's part of it. That's why the church will probably fall away, or starting to fall away even more in the future, because it has to do with God and the creation. And if He hasn't told us about aliens from another dimension, then that will cause the church to start falling away of all these, aliens created us. We were, produced here, hybridized, put on this, colonized on this planet, those things to come. So her next album that came out was Pink Print. Interesting titles on here. I'm going to skip all the way to the end. Track 16, Grand Piano. And understanding the constellations. There are 88 modern constellations in the sky, as above, so below, which on a checker or chessboard in a Freemasonic lodge, it's an 8x8. It is a chessboard, 8x8. Again, the 88. Grand piano has 88 keys, black and white. The grand piano. So they're telling you who she is following here. Of course, track 12, Anaconda, Snake. No need to break that down. Track 14, Pills and Potions, Magic. Pills and Potions. Witch's Brew. Telling you some things here, what they're about. The track 8, 4-door Aventador, which is a form of Lamborghini. So again, the Lamborghini reference here. We're going to get to track 1, All Things Go, which is Jay-Z. Do What Thou Wilt. Also Aleister Crowley too as well. So track 2 is I Lied. Also track 15 is Bed of Lies. So the father of lies is Satan himself. He is the father of lies. Track 10, Buy a Heart. Transhumanism. It's not the one you're born with. You buy a heart. I'm telling you some things coming. Track 4, Get on Your Knees. Bow down, get down on your knees. So for those out there that are looking at this from another point of view, another set of eyes, telling you a different story. So this is mind control at its best. I've talked to you mostly about mind control of individuals, mind control of a mass. This is old technology that has been upgraded through the years that is at work here as well. But something deeper into this is when we get into the video, I got to tell you some things, is the prophecy that is moving forth, whether you believe in the prophecy of the Holy Bible or the Christian Bible. I'm just telling you what they believe is they believe in a resurrected Roman Empire in the end times. And Celine Dion drives up in a Cadillac, and notice the Cadillac emblem and logo has the Roman wreath around the logo. It's no accident that she drives up in a Cadillac. Also, the founder of Cadillac, Antonio de la Motte Cadillac, is French. He came from France. He is a Frenchman. Celine Dion is a French Canadian. A couple of first albums, it's in French. There's a reason things are picked and put in place in this simple little commercial. Is also notice when she drives up, her hair is up, and the clothing she is wearing is light or white. So when she walks into the hospital, her hair is down and she has dark clothing. As above, hair up, hair down, so below. It is a mixing of as above, so below, magic. The other things that are on the clothing line is skull and bones. You have skulls all over these. I mean, just common sense. Why would you want to put skulls all over your child's clothing? You know, I mean, it's just crazy. But skull and bones is a direct reference to another secret society, which is called Skull and Bones. Secret number 322, which George Bush is a member of, and John Kerry and many other high-ranking officials. The 322, what does that mean? And I'll go deeper into that, but just look up Genesis 3:22, and it pretty much tells you what the agenda is. You know, Genesis 3:22 reads as this, and I'm reading the King James Version. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil, and now lest he put forth his hand and take also the tree of life and eat and live forever. Basically, what it is saying is man must not be allowed to live forever with this knowledge. It's not supposed to be this way. And that is what they are attempting to do, is what I've been talking about for years and years, is living forever in a ungodly way. So on the screen, you're looking at the secret of 322, Skull and Bones. I put this up in 2007 on my website. So it's been there that long. I have a page dedicated to the Mark of the Beast and the secret of 322. And on the left, you see the double duplex helix DNA. Every man and woman born the correct way has double helix DNA. That includes 44 base pairs, or 44 autosomes, what you call them. The 45th and 46 are an X and a Y, which determine the sex of a human being. So that the makeup of a human being now is 46 chromosomes total, but base pairs is what we're dealing with. On the right is what they're trying to do, the elite are trying to do, is develop and add another 22 strands of nanotechnology to the double helix to form a triple helix to be controlled right through the middle of that double helix DNA. They want to add that. So also, to get to 666, you have to calculate it and count it. Every scripture revolving around the mark of the beast has to be calculated, has to be counted, and it says, let the reader understand. So it's not going to be just a 666 stamp on a t-shirt somewhere or on an RFID chip. It's way deeper than that of what I'm talking and what I'm showing you. Is you have to calculate. So 322. And I've told you how the elites do math. They look at things differently. They're taught things differently with numbers, symbols, all of that. 322. 3 times 22 is 66. 6 times 6, 36. 3 sixes, 36. 3 6. 666. That's it. You have to calculate it. You have to count it. And this is the abomination that's put in the temple. Once you figure out where the temple is, it's not a building over in Israel. God does not dwell in a physical building. That is scriptural, Christians, or anybody. If you understand that about the Creator, we are the temple. And once you understand what the enemy is up to and they're after, then it all comes together of why the chemtrails in the sky, why genetically modified food. Everything that they're doing is killing us slowly, making us obsolete, an obsolete man. That's the whole purpose behind this documentary that I'm putting together and have been doing since 2007. And let me read this scripture to you and listen to the scripture now, knowing some of the things I've shared with you about the technology. So let me read this, Matthew 24:16. So when you see standing in the holy place, where's the holy place? That's the key. Where's the holy place? Is it a building? Is it somewhere? No. We are the holy place. We are the temple. So when you see standing in the holy place, the abomination of desolation. Desolation means it cannot dwell there anymore. It can't go there. Described by the prophet Daniel, notice it says, let the reader understand. So this means it's not going to be that easy. It's let the reader understand what the prophet Daniel said about this right here. So let's go to Daniel 2:4-3. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Notice that. Something is mixing with men. So whatever's mixing is not man-made. Okay? So iron, I've said this before, followers followed me for years. Iron is technology. Clay is from God. Clay, flesh. Iron and clay. There's a kingdom coming that will not cleave together. Alright? That's the key of what's coming. You need to find out and know what is the illusion and what is real. Is the iron and clay kingdom is man merging with machine, because the machine and the technology is not from God. It's from the fallen. It's from nothing godly. It is the wrong information, good and evil being mixed together. See, some of these illusions, it's hard for people to believe them because they just can't wrap their heads around that conspiracy theories are not theories anymore. I'm going to share something with you, and then you decide, and I'll connect the dots, and you tell me if it's just a coincidence. Look up adrenochrome. Adrenochrome, ADRENOCHROME. It's an hallucinant drug suspected to have been used in Project MK Ultra. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Mind control for years and years out there. This drug is the basis of what they use for mind control. It's also hypothesized to play a role in the development of schizophrenia in adults, multiple personalities. Okay, now let me connect a dot. Did you know in 2008 Google, they rolled out Chrome, their browser, but then later 2009 they purchased the GPU, which is the graphics processing unit, and they renamed it Adreno. So put that together. Their CPUs that they're using in their machines are the GPU, Adreno, and their browser is Chrome. Adreno Chrome. You think that's a coincidence? Mind control. Things that they recommend, things they send out to you, whatever. It's a form of mind control. Adreno Chrome.
What if I told you I could offer you something that would enable you to walk again? I call it STEM, a computer chip that has the potential to change everything. It's a new, better brain.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you. Can anybody else hear you? No, only you. May I point something out? In the drone surveillance footage, Sir Brantner, Marine Corps, address 414 Citrus, Newground. You'll need a plan. I got this. This doesn't seem like a well thought out plan. I need your permission to operate independently. Permission granted! Thank you.
Well, there you go. There is a trailer from 2018 of a movie called Upgrade. It's the same old thing repeated. A promise to live forever, but in the end, it's all about control. It's all around us, asking us to upgrade, move forward. It's keep your eyes open. I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. I'm going to leave you with the late Chuck Missler. He did a great seminar on artificial intelligence and transhumanism. I'm going to leave a little bit of that segment. Then, lastly, I'm going to close with a ahead of schedule release for Obsolete Man by Destiny Lab. I was honored to produce this video. They contacted me a couple of months ago if I could produce a couple of their videos for them. One was Shift Your Paradigm, which I've already released, and this one will be Obsolete Man ahead of schedule. I asked for permission to put this in this documentary type video that I made, and we'll leave you with that. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being patient with me to put this together. I had to get some permission to use some of this footage. within the documentary. So it took me a little while to release it, but hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys. I'll be back soon.
Artificial intelligence area, the power of computers obviously are continuing to accelerate. Their size, their energy and costs are diminishing, and the facility of the hardware continues to accelerate. Both the hardware and the software are making gigantic leaps week by week as we go. And the singularity I tried to explain, that's a term that is associated with Ray Kurzweil, but that's when the computational intelligence exceeds that of the human mind. That's the target. Now you say, well, what's wrong with that? You have to understand what their admitted ultimate goal is. Because if you can take your intelligence and transfer it into that environment, you've achieved immortality. It's a path to immortality, and to exchange consciousness between bodies, synthetic or otherwise. And the fact that this could at least conceivably lead to a path toward immortality can give you a glimpse of what kind of theology these people share, or lack thereof, if you will. Ray Kurzweil's concept of this consciousness not only will be able to be translated into a machine, you can combine consciousness. If you collectivize the consciousness, at the end of a documentary on his life, they asked him, "Do you believe there's a God?" And his answer was very simple. He says, "Not yet." That's really the goal that they think they're on. Now, see, the real problem is the real you. See, I can't see you. I'm standing up on stage. I can see the package you are in. You see, the real you, call it soul, spirit, conscience, whatever, you are temporary resident in a disposable hardware environment. Why shouldn't it be transferable to an alternate, perhaps advantageous environment, even a machine-enhanced environment? The day will be coming when they can create an environment that may be more hospitable than your own body, at least in their mind. So what would limit a continuing path to subsequent upgrades? I'm ready for an upgrade. I don't plan to look to them for that upgrade, by the way. Let me hasten to add that. So there's some coming nightmares coming. The real behind the scenes, something I haven't focused on, but I want to before we're through, is talk about super soldiers armed with ultimate weapons. There is an arms race going on. It's very hidden, but very real, between all the development countries. China, Russia, and the US, probably places in Europe, are going in this direction in the hopes of being able to field the super soldier. That could be a game changer in the pattern of nations. Networked super soldiers with unlimited mind controls, can you imagine? Unenforced lawlessness among a privileged few is part of the scenario here. Consciousness exchanges offering a form of immortality, collective consciousness ushering in a utopian collective, or the ultimate nightmare. That's what's on the horizon. This is not decades away. These are just a matter of years in the minds of the practitioners.
So that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for checking this video out. Please share it with friends and family. Time is short, but that means he is coming back soon. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.